yards for New York, and they had a total of 2 first downs, both of them in one drive.
Like I said, Jim, it seems like one series they tried to run the ball. It didn't work. The next series they tried to throw the ball. It didn't work. There's no flow to the offense, the way the offense is coming out and being presented.
Oilers started the game with the football, so to begin the second half, Del Greco kicks it off. And Ron Carpenter takes it for the Jets. Gets across the 20 and across the 30 to the 33. Second effective kickoff return of the game for Carpenter. Lemansky Hall, number 51, making the stop downfield for the Oilers. And there are the numbers on Boomer in the first half.
And the one big throw was to Mitchell for about a 10 or 12 yard gain. But other than that, it's just been a couple of nitpick throws right and left of him. And there you see what I talked about before, Jim. Look at that. Every single possession has been a punt. Only one drive has gone more than 3 plays. All the rest of them, 3 plays and out.
So they got both of their first downs on that third possession and no first downs on any other possession. See what they figured out at halftime. Well, point 1, they figured how to get the ball into the hands of Corbett. First catch of the day for the rookie, who came in with 57 grabs. And Tomur Barnes was the man who finally wrestled Corbett out of bounds.
And Tomur Barnes would have made a nice tackle had he concentrated on tackling, but instead he's trying to rip the ball out of Wayne Corbett's hands. You can see him trying to pull the ball loose, and actually did there for a moment. But a great connection between Boomer and Wayne Corbett.
We've just been told that the Jets have lost free safety Gary Jones, so when the Jets are playing defense, you might expect to see Carpenter in the game replacing him. On second down, short yardage here, Esiason gives to Ronald Moore, and the former 1,000-yard rusher for the Arizona Cardinals back in his rookie year of '93 goes for a couple here and gets the first down before Gary Walker makes the stop for Houston.
Well, that's what Rich Kotite likes about Moore. Obviously they would like to have Adrian Morrell in there. He was the guy that was really starting to get the run game flowing, but Moore has proven that he can be a 1,000-yard guy. He's big, he's tough. He's a guy that's really he'll be a workhorse for you.
We're getting some unexpected duty today after Morrell was forced to dress in street clothes with a shoulder stinger that he picked up last week. First down 10 for the Jets as they get the third first down of the game. Esiason looking deep, trying to get it to Corbett, up for grabs and batted away. Torrey Hunter, rookie defensive back out of Washington State, making the play downfield for the Oilers.
And a good rush on Boomer Esiason. You see these guys working number 90, Kenny Davidson, getting up in his face, trying to, and actually getting a hit on him as he makes the throw. But he was the guy that really disrupted that play, forced Boomer Esiason to throw the ball very high, and it would shorten his trajectory.
Corbett at 5'10", trying to out-jump Hunter at 5'9". Not exactly the prototype alley-oop. Second down 10.
A couple of field mice.
Over the middle to Ryan Yarborough. And Yarborough, who had no catches in the first half, gets one here. Michael Barrow on the stop, along with Chuck Cecil, gain of about 9.
Well, Yarborough has been coming on a little bit. They're getting some production out of him. You see a nice throw, good pick, a good spot to pick the throw to by Boomer, right there between 3 defenders. But Yarborough, one of the other receivers, they really are having a problem with their wide receivers. As we said earlier, when Rich Kotite came in, he had the wide receivers, but as the training camp and preseason went on, there was more drop passes, more bad routes. He said, I'm just clearing the deck. He cleared it all out, and this is what they ended up with.
They made it a gain of 8, call it 3rd and 2, full blitz for the Oilers. Esiason releases over the middle. It's almost picked off. Moody Harris had a shot at it. Torrey Hunter was there as well. And there's news from Orchard Park. Bills and Dolphins. Let's go to Greg in New York.
All right, Jim, 2 Buffalo turnovers in the second half have led to 2 scores. Dan Marino, 25 yards to Eric Green down the middle after an interception of a Jim Kelly pass. And the Dolphins have pulled even with the Bills at 13. Jim?
All right, Greg, and finally the Dolphins get a big play out of the Marino to Green connection. They've been looking for it since preseason.
And Green really hasn't been as productive as they had hoped. For most of the season, anyway.
Here's Brian Hansen's 7th punt of the game. Fair caught by Mel Gray. And the Oilers will have the football for their first possession of the 3rd quarter when we come back.
Dean Witter. There are many ways to measure success. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time.
Counted about 7 winks over those billboards, Bob. How many?
Those pom-poms get in your eyes, and it's just going to be so distracting.
Start blinking right and left, huh? There are the numbers on McNair, 85 yards passing, but his passes also prompted 2 pass interference penalties against the Jets that added another 77 yards.
Right.
So the passing game actually advanced the ball 162 yards in the first half. Oilers with McNair leading 13-0 over the Jets as they begin their first possession of the second half. Ball at the 14-yard line. Straight drop back. And McNair throws in and out of the hands of Wycheck, the tight end. Marvin Jones was there on the coverage, and you can see that the Oilers fared slightly better with their first half possessions than did the Jets.
Right, and the one thing you see is that the Oilers, although nothing spectacular, on the drives that they started in Jets territory were the drives that they were able to score points.
And the 2 penalties were also instrumental in helping them to maintain the field position advantage throughout the first half. So you look at Jerry Rome, hired mentor to Steve McNair, watching his prize pupil as McNair throws another incompletion intended for Derek Russell with Otis Smith there on the coverage. And I think they locate Smith before they start these pass plays to the wide receivers, Bob.
Well, it was Smith, and it was also Ron Carpenter. I think Carpenter actually was the one that got his hand on the ball and swatted it away. But you're right, it really seems like they've decided to kind of pick on Otis Smith. That's why you're seeing guys like Victor Green and Ron Carpenter show up around Smith so much. Figure give him a little bit of help.
The other Jet corner, former high draft choice Aaron Glenn, played at nearby Texas A&M, has a lot of family and friends in the stands. Well, some family and friends in the stands, but we've only called his name once as the Oilers are staying away from his side. McNair on 3rd down throws a perfect strike to Todd McNair, and Todd McNair can't hold on as Mo Lewis was there, but Todd McNair had position and should have been able to make that catch.
Right, he should have had that. It was a great throw and a great catch. You can see out on the left side of your screen, he comes out of the backfield, breaks it along the sidelines. He's going to come underneath. Nice catch, but it just off his stomach. I'm telling you what, you're seeing more and more with receivers and backs who are supposed to be receivers. A lot of times they're not just using their hands, they're using their body to kind of trap the ball. You get away from just using your hands, you're going to have more balls ricochet off your pads.
So Lewis gets away with that coverage. Flag goes down as the ball is snapped to Houston punter Rich Camarillo, and now Mike Carey's crew will straighten this one out.
Before the snap, false start on the offense, number 83. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Malcolm Seabrun drawing the penalty there.
And you can get a little bit of jumpy back there, especially when you got a defense, a return team lined up against you that looks like they may start coming after the ball. They start twitching a little bit and acting like they're going to come. It's very difficult to keep focus on seeing them and also seeing when the ball is snapped.
Then we hear false start on number 84. What was that all about? So from deeper in his end zone, Camarillo. Sidner at the 43 gets past the first man and is brought down at about the 48 or 49-yard line. Malcolm Seabrun, number 83, was the first man to hit him downfield. The first professional sports franchise ever was the Oilers of the American Football League. They won the championship. The AFL in the inaugural season 1960 and again in 1961. Today, they play in all probability their last football game in Houston. They lead the Jets 13-0. Ronald Moore takes the pitch from Esiason. Oilers are ready for the Jets running game, and it'll be 2nd down, long yardage for Esiason and company after Kenny Davidson and Blaine Bishop made the tackle.
Let's take a look at looking for next year for the New York Jets. We got a couple of guys that are up for free agents. First and foremost, Boomer Esiason, who was a little bit slighted when Glenn Foley was brought in after Boomer came back from concussion. They'll have to work out that deal with him. Johnny Mitchell, Marvin Washington, all guys that are key players for them, especially right now. Johnny Mitchell really fitting in because Kyle Brady being out of the game.
And there's Adrian Norrell, who leads the Jets in rushing and receiving, 6th in the AFC in total yardage coming in. And he is not dressed today because of a shoulder stinger. On 2nd down, Esiason looks and throws in and out of the hands of number 22, Tomu Barnes. He was trying to get it to Wayne Corbett, but Barnes almost had the pick.
Right, so they're gonna really, first and foremost, I think they're gonna have to work on Boomer. I think Boomer's a guy that until a guy like you can prove that a guy like Foley is going to develop, you got to work on keeping Boomer Esiason in the fold with the Jets. Secondly, the one thing that, and we mentioned this before, that Richie Kotite had told us, they needed some help on the outside at tackles. both offensive tackles just aren't suited for working up against speed rushers. And the two having a quarterback, especially an older quarterback, and guys that can't handle speed rushes, is going to get the guy hurt back there.
How about speed fumbles? On 3rd down and 11, Esiason has difficulty handling the snap, and we'll wait to see who has gotten the football. Jet offense continues in its anemic performance today.
Well, I've been in pileups with Boomer like that before.
And you talked about cowboy boots, right?
Yeah. You know, people used to ask us, as you see the fumble here, it just came up. People talk about what happens during a game about talking. Well, when Boomer was in Cincinnati, I was in Cleveland. I hit him at the end of a play as he was throwing the ball. And as we laid on the field, he started telling me about, he said, hey, Bob, I got this buddy in Cleveland. As we watch a little bit of a tussle going on out there.
This is a rugby scrum.
Yeah. He goes, I got this buddy.
Stop it! Everybody out! Get out of here! Now! Out of here! Now! You know that's wrong! Now! Now!
Somebody tell them that they turned their mics on.
Come on, let's go. Clock going. This way. This way. This way. Come on, let's go.
So anyway, I hit Boomer. We're laying there. The pass was completed, and he made this grunting noise. I said, Boomer, you all right? He goes, Bob. He goes, hey, I got this guy in Cleveland who has a boot company. He goes, he wants an autographed picture to put up on the wall there. If you do that, he'll give you a free set of boots. I said, okay, great. So, you know, we're laying at a place going on. We're discussing free boots to a boot company.
This sounds like a television commercial. 4th down, 13 yards to go for the Jets at the 46 after the fumbled snap. Hansen gets it away, flag down, and Mel Gray makes the catch, spins away from the first man, and has a lot of room on the left side if he can get to the outside, and is dragged down from behind. Number 59, Kyle Clifton, reserve linebacker for the Jets, making the long gain saving tackle there. Now we'll see what the flag was for. Offside, Houston.
Testing.
Yes, it works, Mike. So in all probability, the Jets will punt
Offside
again.
on the defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty, re-kick, 4th down.
So anyway, Jim, so we're talking about this boot deal.
Yes.
And I try and call he gave me the lady's number right there on the field I was supposed to call. I'm doing phone tag with her back and forth. 4 weeks later, we play them again in Cleveland. About the 3rd play of the game, there's the ball snapped. It drops to the ground. Boomer jumps on it. I jump on him. And everybody jumps on top of us. And I'm trying to pull the ball on. Give me the ball, Boomer. And he looks up from the bottom of this mass of humanity. And he goes, hey, Bob, did you get a hold of that guy about those boots? I go, no, I'm playing phone tag. But I talked to his secretary. You know, at that point, all the young guys are going, what the hell are these guys talking about?
This is what scouts mean when they say that Boomer has great awareness on the field.
That's right. But all the veterans are in the pile going, hey, can I get some free boots too?
I'm sure they were. Mel Gray deep again for the Oilers as Hansen once again kicks it away. Gray calls the fair catch this time and makes it at the 12-yard line. So Steve McNair and the Oilers will be deep in their own territory at the 12 as they begin this possession, leading 13-0. Next Saturday, NBC Sports presents more exciting NFL action, starting at the special time of 12 noon Eastern with the NFL on NBC. Then Junior Seau, Stan Humphries and company lead the Chargers, still fighting for a playoff spot, into the Meadowlands to battle Dave Brown, Rodney Hampton, and the Giants. Then following the game, it's a special post-game edition of the NFL on NBC, featuring the selection of the Bob Hope All-America team, featuring Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George of Ohio State. So that's a special Saturday edition of the NFL on NBC starting at 12 noon Eastern, right here on NBC next Saturday.
Bob Hope, All-American. That was a mess. Years ago, we went and did that.
Chargers have a big game in Indianapolis today as they try to keep their playoff hopes alive. Indianapolis in the thick of the fight as well. On 1st down, McNair hands to Rodney Thomas. Mark Spindler makes the stop for the Jets, and the Jets are playing run all the way on these 1st and 10 situations against the Oilers, and player stays down.
It's not like the Oilers are really mixing things up that well. They're
going to come back after a play or so. Meanwhile, he's been replaced in the offensive line by Eric Norgaard, who will line up at left guard. Bruce Matthews, who's played every position along the offensive front at some time or another, moves over for the moment to left tackle. Steve McNair working on a streak of 7 consecutive incomplete passes. Here with a passing situation on 2nd and 10. Blitz, release, first down yardage and more for Roderick Lewis, the second-year tight end out of Arizona, before Victor Green runs him out. Quickly, let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, in Buffalo, the Bills break the tie. Jim Kelly from 11 yards out to Thurman Thomas in the end zone. On 3rd and goal, the Bills convert, and they take the lead over Miami, 20-13 late in the 3rd. Jim.
And how many knives has Thurman Thomas stuck into the heart of Don Shula over the years? Big play after big play against the Dolphins.
Well, the good news for the Dolphins is that the injury to Marino was the ring finger of his non-throwing hand, so he's been able to get back in and at least keep him competitive.
Nair down to 1 on the play clock after having picked up the first down with the pass to Lewis. First scramble of the day for the rookie QB, and he's belted hard to the Astro turf as he gets to the sideline. Bobby Houston, number 55, dragging McNair down from behind.
And, you know, he really has done a good job. McNair has done a good job of staying in the pocket, because I think that's what a lot of people were worried about, that he was going to be too run happy. But even Rich Kotite said, you know, I was working with Randall Cunningham. With Randall Cunningham, he goes, he felt he was similar, but Randall almost knew he was going to run coming out of the huddle. You know,
as Kotite said, coming out of the locker room.
Coming out of the locker room. Yeah. He goes, he was that anxious to run with it. He goes, with McNair, you're seeing a guy who's much more patient and is taking the time to read his progression of receivers before saying, hey, I got to run with this.
$28 million the Oilers have invested in the young man. Here he lets the play clock run down to 0 before getting the playoff. That'll hurt him.
There's been a couple of times now he's gotten awful close.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And gone past the allotted time, so he's going to have to work on play time management a little bit more.
You see the Oilers with the designation Mojo on their helmets. That's in memorial to honor the recently deceased Mojo Lackey, longtime sideline figure, chief helper, chief of staff of ball boys. McNair under pressure, releases in the flat, looking to try to get it to Todd McNair. Marvin Jones was the man who was in on top of Steve McNair. Didn't give him time to complete the play.
Yeah, watch him. They didn't give away the blitz from the right pre-snap. He came from his regular linebacker position, and nobody even picked it up. He came wide open, and they make a nice hit on McNair.
The penalty had made it 2nd down 14, so now it will be 3rd and 14 with the football at the 24, and Jones goes to the sideline as the Jets bring on an extra defensive back.
But they're mixing it up a little bit more defensively. They're not showing blitz all the time. Sometimes they're blitzing from a normal base look.
Otis Smith locked on to Sebron. McNair looks to the other side of the field and tries to get it to Sanders, but number 43, Vance Joseph, with good coverage on the play.
Hey, that was all Vance. Vance Joseph was all over Sanders on that one. Going to watch him. He takes away the outside finger. He's got some help on the inside, but watch him with the cut. Stays right with Sanders and makes a nice play, hand on the ball, just as it comes into Sanders' chest.
Tremendous play for a guy who was a backup quarterback behind Cordell Stewart through most of his career at Colorado. Is learning to play defensive back this year. Has been toasted on a few occasions, but is showing some instinct for the position.
Hey, you learn through adversity sometimes.
Jeff Sidner deep to receive the punt as Rich Camarillo kicks it away for Houston. Long, low kick. Plenty of time for Sidner to do something with it. Gets it at the 20 and is dragged down at the 30 on an excellent tackle. Numbers 51 and 52 for the Oilers. Lemansky, Hall, and Baron Wortham down there. Wortham says, I'm a demigod. I'm really something cosmically new because I made that tackle.
Well, you know, he likes it. He's had an opportunity because of injuries to Michael Barrow during the course of the year to step in as a starter at middle linebacker, but still very good on special teams.
Personal foul against the Jets.
During the return, there was holding on the return, team number 32. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
They get holding, not a personal foul, and so the Jets will begin with the football back near their 20-yard line, trailing 13-zip. 8th wonder of the world when they first built it a few decades ago. Today, it is about to become a lame duck National Football League stadium. The Oilers are playing under court order here and are supposed to play here under court order for the next 2 years. But the facts of life are as follows. If the Oilers play here for 2 more years with the expected low attendance, the county and the Astrodome will lose money. Bud Adams won't. So in all probability, they'll be gone to Tennessee after this year. On first down for the Jets, Esiason releases sidearm to Wayne Crabette. Crabette makes a spectacular acrobatic catch for a gain of about 3.
A great job by Crabette. Watch him. He's going to work his way. Coming from motion, he's just going to drag it back across the middle, hoping to find some room over the middle, and a nice job of picking it up. But once again, the throws just very short, not picking up much yardage. And I don't know if that little amount of yardage was worth the pounding that Boomer Esiason took on that play.
From big Anthony Cook, number 78, who belted Esiason down to the artificial turf after the release. 3-yard gain on the completion to Crabette. Second down, 7. Blitz. And the ball was batted into the air by number 58, Joe Bowden. Having a pretty good game today from his outside linebacker position.
You're going to see Joe Bowden right in front of you in the bottom of your screen. He's going to come unmolested. Tight end right there just totally ignores him, and Bowden comes and makes a play. And you know, Bowden's the guy that along with Eddie Robinson on the other side, number 50, who the Oilers, we talk about free agents, these are guys that they're going to have to try and lock up, because they've really started to develop as a linebacker unit. Both Bowden and Eddie Robinson are guys that they could potentially lose.
And it's rookie defensive tackle Gary Walker, number 5 pick in the draft, who has come up big for the Oilers, replacing Ray Childress this year. He's the man who's down on the artificial turf. When they move to Tennessee next year, they'll be playing in all probability in the Liberty Bowl, which is in Memphis, not Nashville. Go figure. But if my memory serves me correctly, the Liberty Bowl is natural grass, and I think you'll see less of this.
I certainly hope so. You know, they have the ability to do so many things. You think they could find a way to get rid of this AstroTurf, and why the union doesn't fight stronger to get rid of a lot of the AstroTurf, especially in outside stadiums, I have no idea.
Did you see the lady in front of Bud Adams who noticed her face on the monitor and decided to stand up to give us all a better look? She obscured the owner of the Oilers, playing the courts ruled that he would play in the new league, the AFL, instead of in the old league, the NFL. That was the first of many huge steps toward the AFL-NFL merger. The Oilers won that first championship in 1960. They won again in 1961. All that glory and tradition coming to a close today. Esiason throws over the middle of Mitchell. Mitchell fighting toward the stick to try to get the Jets a rare first down. Blaine Bishop with the tackle. And they're right at about the measurement point. You see Fisher over on the sideline supervising the spot of the ball.
Well, he's doing everything he can to help his offense at this point, and they give him the first down. Mitchell fighting hard to get that first down.
Fisher, a fiery guy, played defensive back at USC with Ronnie Lott, Dennis Smith, Joey Browner. Bruce Matthews was a member of the team, and now Fisher coaches Bruce Matthews.
Well, I tell you what a group of defensive backs that was.
Were they good?
Oh.
First and 10 as they give Mitchell credit for the first down. I think that's the Jets' 4th first down of the game. The give here is to Brad Baxter, and Baxter has a couple before Michael Barrow makes the stop. Check with my statistician here. How many Jets first downs? Is that 4? I'm correct. They've had 4, Bob.
Well, they seem, you know, in the run game, they just seem a little tentative getting to the line of scrimmage. They're not slashing, they're not really pounding it away at the line of scrimmage. They're kind of coming up, they're looking for holes, they're being a little tentative in the way they slash at the holes. And, you know, if they're going to get something going on the ground, they're just going to have to be more aggressive up front.
They should have practiced with earplugs in to get ready for the quiet. On 2nd and 8, Esiason's throw is incomplete. Torrey Hunter, number 25, making the play against intended receiver Ryan Yarborough, number 87 of the Jets.
Yeah, Yarborough, but a nice route. But I'll tell you what, Torrey Hunter, beautiful coverage you're going to see over on the right side of your screen as they come in. He just closes Hunter just right on top of him. Makes a beautiful play both on the ball and also on the receiver. It's nice when you see you can get his hand in there and make a play on the ball and not have that backside hand getting into an interference situation by grabbing on or pushing him.
Hunter, one of a number of rookies making contributions for the Oilers. This has been a lengthy 3rd quarter. Can you believe we still have 5:45 to go in the 3rd? Esiason throws to Crabette, and Crabette has another Jet first down. Number 27, Odie Harris, was there to make the tackle. It was Tomer Barnes, number 22, who was covering Crabette. And Crabette with a good catch and run.
He comes in motion. He's just going to make a nice little angle across the middle. Just a possession down type of pass. And you know, Corvette told us, he goes, you know, I'm not a real big guy. He goes, so sometimes it might be hard for Boomer to find me, because you know what? Because it's also sometimes it's kind of hard for the defensive guys to find me too.
I think I'll credit Barnes with the tackle instead. Harris was there just a half-second late. First down 10, second first down of the drive for the Jets, 5th of the game. Full blitz against Esiason. He releases into the flat and can't get it to Johnny Mitchell.
Boy, and he almost took a shot, or Boomer actually did take a shot. You're going to see a blitz coming right up the middle. Then he gets hit late as he's throwing the ball. Number 56, Michael Barrow, right on the knee.
And quarterbacks hate it when you come at them low down there, because they're looking upfield, they don't see you, and often that's how you get a knee or an ankle with that low hit.
Right. Well, you know, the problem is that you're not allowed to hit them high anymore. So, you know, these guys, they don't like to get hit low. You don't want to hurt the guy's knee, but a lot of times it's just those little crawling type of approaches to the quarterback that can cause the most damage to the knees.
Blitz again. Again, Esiason releases over the middle, and again, Mitchell fights toward the first down. He's going to be a few yards short on the strong tackle by Chuck Cecil and Blaine Bishop.
Well, I mean, they found something that's worked to get him some yardage. You're going to see Mitchell just sitting down right in the middle zone, short and underneath there. But you're right, good hits. Chuck Cecil coming up, you know, and you see Chuck Cecil, he just doesn't look like that big a guy. In fact, Chris Dishman told me, he goes, first time I saw Chuck Cecil, he goes, this is the big hitter.
This is the guy?
This is the guy.
This is Mr. Apocalypse of defensive secondaries in the NFL. Yeah, but it isn't the size of the dog in the fight with Cecil. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Third down 3, flat pass to number 33, Ronald Moore. Moore breaks a tackle and gets enough for the first down before Joe Bowden knocked him out of bounds.
Now it looks like it was number 56, Michael Barrow. Oh, excuse me, no, it was Bowden that was the first one that came up and made the hit, but a little upset with himself that he didn't knock him down, and he was able to keep going and pick up the first down.
So Barnes actually gets credit for knocking him out of bounds. Another tackle for Barnes, and an unrequited hit there for Barrow.
But one of the problems you're seeing with tacklers is they're trying to make those big hits. They're not wrapping the arms like they used to.
First and 10 for the Jets, their best drive of the game. Complete to Yarborough here, gain of 8. It'll be second down 2. Torrey Hunter on the coverage. Jets have made 3 consecutive first downs.
Right, and you're starting to see some sort of rhythm to the offense. Nothing is really fit together. It's each individual series. It's almost been like, you know what? Hey, you know, we'll run on this one. Okay, we'll throw on the flat on this series. Now they're mixing it up. They're going side to side. They're starting to get a little bit of a rhythm to their offense.
Zeke Bratkowski, offensive coordinator. They played a game against the Seahawks a few weeks ago, and it was Zeke Bratkowski, offensive coordinator of the Jets, against his son, Bob Bratkowski, offensive coordinator of the Seahawks. Here, the give is to Brad Baxter, and the terrific tackle on the corner by Blaine Bishop. That's why he's going to the Pro Bowl.
Well, he's a big hitter. He loves coming up and taking the shots at these guys. Watch him. You're going to see that they're going to try and do a little bit of run, just off tackle. And Blaine Bishop's just going to come up out of a safety position just to make the nice low tackle. Beautiful shot by Blaine Bishop.
Leads the Oilers in tackles this year, as does the strong safety for the Jets, Victor Green. Strong safety becoming more and more of a focal point of NFL defenses against the running game.
Well, with the attack defense that most of these teams are starting to employ a little bit more, it requires that the safeties come up and make more plays in the running game.
Third down 2, and the Oilers respond. Barnes and Bowden shutting off the corner over there, and the Jets will be short of the first down and have a fourth down decision to make, trailing 13-0 in the ball game with the clock running and 2:24 to go in the third quarter.
Well, you need short yardage. You don't hand off the ball. You watch Moore when he was running. He had his shoulders turned towards the sideline. You're not going to pick up the 2 yards that you need if your shoulders are turned towards the sideline. You got to get the guy. You got to give him the ball, and you got to get him turned towards the line of scrimmage and let him hit the line.
Number 67 reports as ineligible.
Eligible receiver now is number 67, Everett McIver, in the game. A third offensive tackle on the field as the Jets try to get the first down on the ground and can't do it. Eddie Robinson, number 50. Barrow Wortham, number 52. 23, Blaine Bishop, and a host of blue jerseys as the Oilers rise up for their few remaining fans in the Astrodome.
Man, they just came up, and this is what Jeff Fisher told us they love to play. Look at the way the penetration. Craig Vesey, the first one to get the penetration, stopped Moore's feet, and everybody else taking a shot at the back.
Jeff Fisher, his trademark is defense. That's a big moment for him on his way out. Is Gary Walker, number 5 draft choice, rookie defensive tackle for the Oilers, who's become a starter in the last 7 weeks with Ray Childress sidelines. And so the Oilers will have to go the rest of the way without him. On first down, Steve McNair gives to Gary Brown, and Brown rolls forward for a gain of about 3. And another look at the 4th down stoppage by the Oilers.
And right there, Vesey, 71's the first one to break through, drove his man back about 2 yards in the backfield. He stopped the forward momentum. Then Bishop and Barrow and all the rest of the guys came in and just all took turns hitting Moore.
And Jeff Fisher celebrated on the sidelines.
Nothing like a good defensive
Jet drive was 13 plays, 44 yards. They got 3 first downs. It was their best drive of the day, and they wind up with, as we say, bupkis from it. Good play fake by McNair. Wide open receiver is Wycheck. Excellent throw. Another first down for the Oilers near midfield and into Jets territory. Let's go to New York.
All right, Jim, in Buffalo, no one's going to go quietly today. From 5 yards out, Bernie Parmalee finds the end zone, and about 9 minutes or so remaining to be played. It's a 20-20 tie, the Dolphins and the Bills, Jim.
AFC East drama in Orchard Park as the Dolphins come back to tie the Bills again here in Houston. The Oilers are leading the Jets 13-0.
Boy, that's an ugly place to play in December.
Oh, Buffalo? Not for the Bills. They think of it as a beautiful place to play in December. On first down, after the 14-yard completion from McNair to Wycheck, Gary Brown has the football. Gain of about 3, and you see the clock rolling toward the end of the 3rd period here.
And the Oilers right now, they've got to just find a way to get a nice consistent drive going, eat some time off the clock, finish out this quarter, start to eat some time in the 4th quarter, because they're starting to see that the Jets may be finding some rhythm in their offense.
And the play clock shows 14 as the game clock clicks down toward the end of the 3rd quarter. So that'll be it for period number 3. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. To this point in Houston by the Oilers.
You know, I've been through a season like this. We were 2-14 with the Patriots 1 year, and I tell you what, it's very difficult to keep everybody's head in the ball game. You can get a couple of guys who stay professional, but man, it is really hard to stay focused on the game,
especially in December. Meanwhile, the Oilers have enthusiasm playing with rookie quarterback Steve McNair. McNair completes a short pass here to Roderick Lewis. Bobby Houston drags him down. Here's a look at a game summary so far. 76 yards of total offense for the Jets.
I mean, that's just amazing. They haven't been able to get the running game going, and obviously Adrian Morrell not being in the game may have affected that a little bit, but still, Boomer Esiason as a quarterback, you're going to expect, I expect, because I know the guy, I've played against him, there'd be more offense, and I guess that's one of the reasons Rich Kotite says next year we got to get some wide receivers for him.
Jets finished with a loss here last year in a game that Esiason described as a tank job. He was furious at some of his teammates about it, notably Johnny Mitchell. On 3rd down here, McNair throws complete to Chris Sanders, rookie to rookie. Aaron Glenn on the coverage, but Sanders, the star rookie wideout, with a good cut in front of Glenn.
And he had 2 guys basically at different depth, and he could have hit either one of them in line. Derek Russell and Chris Sanders, and goes for the deeper man. Both guys open.
Well, he can throw the out pattern pretty well, huh?
No, I tell you what, he's got good accuracy. And the one thing is that I'm seeing too, he has a good awareness of where the defender is in his coverage of the receiver. He can get the ball away. He can get the ball to the side away from the coverage man.
Oilers have had excellent field position through most of the game. And here they have 1st and 10 inside the Jet 35. Give to Gary Brown. And Brown has a gain of about 4 down to the 31. Hugh Douglas making the stop for the Jets. Both teams will be in the market for wide receivers, most particularly the Jets, and here's a list of the key free agents at that position. none of them such a lights-out choice that you would risk body and soul and budget to get him, right?
Right. But, you know, you look at the Oilers, and they're not in that desperate a need. I mean, with Haywood Jeffries and Chris Sanders, you know, rookie this year. But the one thing they did say, they need some depth. They need to know that they have a third and a fourth receiver that they can go to.
Jets key wideout this year has been rookie free agent Wayne Corbett. Naked bootleg. They had planned to use it, and McNair gets extra yardage by keeping his feet in bounds. He took a hard tackle as a result, and the crowd appreciates the big play on the naked boot by the rookie QB.
They love it, and Jeff Fisher says, you know what, we don't want the guy to run in passing situations. We want him to stay in there, be able to move in the pocket, but he goes, there will be some times he's going to run that naked boot. He's going to have nobody to block him, nothing in front of him. It's going to be all him going for the yardage, and here you see.
Number 64, report test, an eligible receiver.
Good quickness, good speed.
Is eligible.
And Hugh Douglas with the out-of-bounds body slam on McNair, but McNair will take it for the 13-yard gain and the first down. Now the Oilers use a timeout with 12:35 to go in the game.
That's their first charge timeout.
That's the first charge timeout, that's right. So you look at Rich Kotite along the sideline, perhaps mystified by his lethargic Jets today.
Number 64 is eligible.
They have just announced that number 64, Eric Norgaard, is going to be eligible. Fisher told us they'll be using 3 tight ends, Norgaard being the 3rd tight end.
Here's the 3 tight end formation with Marion Butts as the lone setback behind McNair. Plenty of time for McNair to throw in the end zone, and it's almost picked off by Ron Carpenter. He hung it up just a little bit, trying to get it to Travis Hanna. Flag down.
Yeah, they told us that they were going to be going to, they got a holding defensively against the Jets. But they told us they're going to be using that situation with the 3 tight ends, Marion Butts in the backfield, to try and just pound away on the line of
Illegal
scrimmage.
Contact on the defense, number 31. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Call is against Aaron Glenn for that little grab against Travis Hanna as Hanna went by.
Well, I mean, he did get his hand on him. It wasn't like it was incidental contact, but as Hanna makes the move, as he turns upfield, Glenn tries to grab onto. Yeah. He knows that he's been beaten. He's got to do something to try and maintain some contact and closeness to the receiver.
Fabulous stop and go by Hanna.
Very nice. Nice old spin move.
First play of the game for Travis, who has not been a target at any other time during the day. The Jets have been thunderously hurt by interference penalties. Again, they go with the 3 tight end formation. This time Marion Butts goes forward for a gain of about 3. Matt Brock makes the stop for the Jets.
Now that's what we expected. I tell you what, Jeff Fisher loves Marion Butts. He said this guy during his day off on Tuesdays, he'll come in, he'll lift. He said he usually runs 6 miles every day off that he has, and is just so into the conditioning and just staying and being a part of this team. You know, he just didn't fit into the system in New England, didn't gel with the San Francisco 49ers, and everybody thought, you know, maybe it's not the same without the Bernstein in San Diego, but seems like Jeff Fisher likes him here.
He's only averaging 2.5 yards per carry. On this play, Brown is back in the game at tailback, and Marvin Washington, leading tackler among the Jets defensive linemen, wraps Brown up for a short gain, and now McNair will be looking at an obvious passing situation, 3rd and 7, with the football at the 9-yard line.
And when Jeff Fisher said that they're going to use the 3 tight end set, again, it was because he felt that the defensive front 4, the interior, was a little undersized. They didn't have the strength to hold up to just a continued pounding. Felt they had some good support on the outside, so they worked the edges pretty well, but the inside was susceptible.
Houston leads 13-0 after a scoreless 3rd quarter. Brown on 3rd down gets the ball on a draw play, and the Oiler fans are a little bit restive about the fact that Jeff Fisher didn't go for a touchdown there. Eric Howard made the stop for the Jets, and now Del Greco will come on with the field goal unit.
Well, good job by Eric Howard. You know, one of those guys that came over from the Giants, making the big move to the Jets. But Howard working underneath a pull block by Bruce Matthews to get in there and get a hold on Gary Brown.
And clearly Fisher was thinking, hey, the way my defense is stopping the Jet offense, if I get it to 16-0 and the Jets have to score 3 times, they're not going to do it.
Exactly. So he's just playing the percentages.
24-yard field goal try upcoming for Del Greco. And the Oilers continue playing it safe with the rookie quarterback at the helm and making it pay off as Del Greco's 3rd field goal of the day stretches the lead for McNair and company over the Jets to 16-0 over the Jets. who have looked totally impotent on offense and don't look as though they're going to threaten to win a game in which they trail 16-0 in the fourth. Ron Carpenter is belted down by number 51 Lemansky Hall and number 27 Odie Harris. And next Sunday on NBC Sports, Dan Marino will continue to try to stoke the fires of Miami's ambition as he tries to help them rebound and reach the playoffs. The Fish will be traveling to St. Louis to take on the Rams. Second-year wide receiver Isaac Bruce has the Gateway City on its feet. Bruce, number 2 in NFL receiving yardage. Tremendous test for Miami's defense. Dolphins and the Rams next Sunday here on NBC Sports. Have you seen the record-breaking Isaac Bruce?
I sure have. I'll tell you what, that was, talking about Pro Bowl, that was a hard area to pick. NFC wide receivers.
No, I was going to say, if you do poorly today, Bob, you'll be forced to pick NFC wide receivers for the Pro Bowl.
Don't
and then go to every NFC locker room and try to explain why you chose who you did.
Number 68, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And despite the fact that Kenny Davidson ran across the line of scrimmage, it was 68 Bach who drew the flag, so 5 more yards against the Jets. And a look at the doubleheader next Sunday here on NBC. Pittsburgh, Green Bay, leading our list of games at 12:30, and then the second half of the doubleheader, you saw Miami, St. Louis, and the Oakland game. On second down, Esiason throws complete to number 89 Charles Wilson, and Torrey Hunter is there to make the stop, and it'll be about half the distance toward the first down. They'll have second down coming up. That, of course, was 1st and 15. Gain of 6, make it 2nd and 9.
And the Jets are going to make some plays here because the Oilers are going to allow them a little bit of leeway. They just don't want to hit them with any big moves. They know.
Very dangerous to Moore there as Henry Ford twists his lower body up in the air while the rest of the players continue to wrench his upper body, but Moore's lucky enough to get up. Eddie Robinson, number 50, was there along with Barrow.
You know, the one thing I'm watching, Jim, and especially on the field goal rush, when the Jets were rushing the field goal against the Oilers, I'd say 9 out of the 11 guys were standing still. Nobody was working. It just seems like the fight has gone out of these guys.
Hard game. Pretty tough to play when you're going nowhere. Esiason down the field, and Crevette can't hold on. It's the kind of catch that the tough rookie has been making all year long.
You're exactly right. That's what has brought him to the forefront. That is what has made him the great receiver that he's become this year. And today, even he is not having the success. You can see the guys sitting on the side and just shaking their heads. They just can't believe how inept everything is going for them today.
Brian Hansen will kick it away again for the Jets. Mel Gray waits at his 25-yard line. Out of bounds. So even when the Oilers make a mistake, it doesn't redound to the advantage of the Jets. It'll be Houston football at their 15, leading 16-0 when we come back.
Boomer Esiason and the New York Jets, and the one thing we're seeing is a lot of heads shaking. They're just can't believe that they have to go through this once again.
It has become a regular occurrence for the Jets in Houston. They've lost the last 4 against the Oilers. They're headed for 0 for 5. On first down from the 15. They're giving to Rodney Thomas. Matt Brock still playing hard with green and white.
You know, congratulations to Matt Brock because, you know, something happens. Losing Jim can be infectious. You know, you get out there, and even as the game starts, you go in there with hope and excitement about possibly changing things around and getting a win. But if things don't go well right away in the beginning of the game, in the back of your mind, at least, you start thinking, oh no, here we go again. And so, you know, when you've only won 3 games, so easily you can fall into that frame of mind like, here, oh no, here we go again.
Haywood Jeffries in motion on second down 11 for the Oilers. Thomas breaks it out, and we'll have first down yardage and more across the 25 to the 26.
A beautiful run by Rodney Thomas. Got kind of stuck up in the backfield, but watch him make those little jump to the side. He'll take the ball and just a little hop to the side, finds an open lane, and just accelerates. And that's why he was one of the top running backs this year, not only just for the Oilers, but in the AFC.
Rookie out of Texas A&M. Maybe another one comes out of Texas A&M next year if Leland McElroy elects to apply for the draft. So let's see the numbers on Thomas today. 12-yard gain on that play. First down, Oilers at the 26. Clock running with 7:47 to go. Good tackle, number 21, Victor Green, coming up to stop Thomas in his tracks.
And it's a good thing he did, too, because there was a big old hole opening up there. The linebacker had been pinned about 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. He was about to turn up when Victor Green slashed in from the outside and undercut him.
Green, as we mentioned before, leading tackler on the Jets this year, just as his counterpart Blaine Bishop, strong safety for the Oilers, has led them in the tackle category.
Now, Victor Green, you got to give it to Victor Green and Matt Brock, two guys that we've seen be very active, you know, as well as Marvin Jones also been very active today, but really have not given up on this game.
Second down 9. McNair this time with plenty of time to throw, and Sanders with another acrobatic catch. Aaron Glenn on the coverage, but what a phenomenal capacity for making tough catches Chris Sanders has shown all year. And who knew? A rookie out of Ohio State who played there in the shadow of his teammate Joey Galloway and has emerged as a star in this league.
But watch the concentration. This ball is going to bounce off the back of Aaron Glenn's pads. Right there off the back of his shoulder pads and helmet. And Chris Sanders just so focused and concentrated on the ball. Great awareness. Beautiful. Again, nice move. And that's one of the things he's learned so far this year. You got to be more physical to the line, but look at the concentration.
53-yard catch and run by Sanders is going to make McNair's passing statistics look a lot better in the newspaper tomorrow. Rodney Thomas with the football on first down, and again the Jets are able to stack up the running play, and here comes Chris Sanders back onto the field.
Well, nice job defensively. The defense at times swarmed in very nice and really had a good read, shed their blocks well, and got in and make a good play.
Sanders came into the game with 31 catches, averaging 22.5 yards per catch, 9 TDs. In a lowercase way, he's sort of the Isaac Bruce of the AFC in the sense that he's emerged unexpectedly and is a super big play receiver. Second and 12 after Thomas's loss, and another catch by Sanders, and he's out of bounds at the 2-yard line, working on Otis Smith. They've got the makings of a great pass and catch combo here with McNair and Sanders.
And once again, they come after McNair. Blitzing, picked up once again. Good pickup up front. But Sanders, just watch a break to the outside, just catches Otis Smith, flat-footed.
Number 64 is eligible.
Otis Smith has to turn his body all the way around and can't keep up with Chris Sanders.
3 catches for 82 yards in the game for Sanders. Norgard now eligible. Number 64 is an eligible receiver lining up at tight end. They've got first and goal from the 2-yard line. Oilers signal touchdown. No striped shirts do so. It was Butts with the football. Now I think they're going to be about 6 inches short of the goal line.
Eric Howard and Marvin Jones both getting good penetration there to cut Butts, but just didn't, you'll see here, he just wasn't able to cross the line. A good cut there. Watch Marvin Jones come in there. They're able to keep him out. Yeah, the ball lands on about the half-a-yard line.
Jets are looking at falling to 3-12 for the season. Second down goal. Butts could have scored from Dallas on that play.
Well, in the short yardage situation, defenses are going to just work and try and undercut the line of scrimmage. You start stretching that line to the right or to the left. At that time, to the end, to the right. Watch, you'll see the guys up front defensively just trying to get some penetration. But as they stretch everything to the right, a hole opens up, and Butts has plenty of room to slip through.
Kevin Donnelly, Irv Eaton, Martin Stepnoski with the blocking up front for Marion Butts. He gets the short touchdown run. McNair's offense puts another TD on the board, mostly thanks to the fabulous work of Chris Sanders, the wide receiver. Del Greco will try to stretch the lead to 23-0. 4 minutes, 35 seconds to go in the last NFL game in all likelihood to be played in the Astrodome, and the Oilers are headed toward a blowout win. In the Astrodome, they trail 23-0. Go, Bob.
And Jim, I'll tell you what, not only is it hard to finish off a season like this, but I'm telling you what, the off season seems like it goes on forever. Because there's always coaches calling. They want to make sure that things are getting fixed. You know, it's just that when you don't have that much to look forward to, it makes it a very long off season.
Kickoff goes to Jeff Sidner, and Sidner is across the 20 to about the 25. Oilers still playing hard. Bring him down there. Number 83, Malcolm Sebron, downfield to make the tackle. Oiler tradition began in 1960. That was George Blanda throwing here to Billy Cannon. An 88-yard scoring play, the longest play in Oiler playoff history. It was in the fourth quarter of the first AFL championship game in which the Oilers beat the Los Angeles Chargers here in Houston's Jefferson Stadium, 24-16. They came on to win the second AFL championship the following year in 1961 and played in the championship game again in the third year against the Dallas Texans. On first down, Boomer Esiason throws to his road roommate Johnny Mitchell. Blaine Bishop makes the stop as Mitchell has first down yardage across the 30 to the 34, and all the Jets are looking for at this point, Bob, is a chance to make the scoreboard look a little bit more respectable.
Yeah, you never want to leave the field with a 0 on your side of the score.
Make it the 36, where it was a first down and a gain of 11 yards. Now Esiason looks deep again for Mitchell. Coverage by number 27, Odie Harris, and Mitchell didn't get a chance to look back at the football early enough to make a play.
You know, it's just amazing watching that flashback. See, you know, this old game in black and white, you know, a long time ago in Houston, to think that that whole era is coming to an end here, potentially, if that move to Nashville goes through.
I find it kind of sad, and I mean, as recently as a couple of years ago, this was one of the strongest teams in the league. As you look at the Earl Campbell remembrance up there.
Jim, when I was with the Browns, we hated to come down to the House of Pain. I mean, this was a scary place to play.
Esiason throws in traffic to Fred Baxter. Baxter short of first down yardage at about the 42 of the 43. Jets will work without a huddle as they try to tack on a late score here and avert the shutout. Jacksonville fell to 3-12 today, or at least is headed toward falling to 3-12. So the Jets and Jacksonville are still in a dead heat race for the first pick in the upcoming draft. Because of the schedule strength difference, Jacksonville would get the pick if both teams wind up 3-13.
Well, you know, they're working hard, and I don't think anybody plays to get the first draft.
There was a false start on the offense, number 62, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
No, I'm sure they don't.
And, you know, this is amazing. Even in a situation, because like I was going to say, with the Jets, even in this drive, even if they're able to score, there's still an asterisk by it. Because the Oilers at this point are sitting back, and they're going to give them room to make the short pass and just let them eat up some clock. Hey, they'll give them yardage. They'll even give them a score as long as it takes, you know, three and a half minutes.
A few members of the crowd trying to work up a chant of anger and vituperation against Bud Adams, but even that doesn't draw much enthusiasm here in Houston. Jets now over 100 yards in penalties for the game as Esiason works on 3rd and 9 from the 38. And overthrows, and it's almost picked off by Odie Harris. It was behind Johnny Mitchell, and this has not been one of Boomer Esiason's good days.
No, he's been way off on his throws, very inaccurate as the day has progressed. But, I mean, you can't put it all on him either. He just doesn't have the targets. You know, he has a couple of guys that he can throw to. They've got to work hard in the offseason. They've got to find some free agents, you know, work the free agent market, see what they can do to kind of shore up that wide receiver. Hey, Rich Kotite said, I would love to have wide receivers. I'd love to be able to run a 3 wide receiver set. I just don't have the personnel.
So the Jets will go for it on 4th down 9. Esiason down the middle, and the catch is made. Bishop on the coverage against Johnny Mitchell, but Mitchell, and Boomer was locked onto him all the way, makes the big catch for first down yardage into Houston territory at the 41.
Well, that's the one play the one pass play that's been working regularly is just putting Mitchell kind of up that slot, either up the slot or having him pull up short at about 10 yards, usually finding him open and getting the ball off to him.
Playoff picture gradually coming into focus in the AFC. Buffalo Bills, if they can win today in Orchard Park, will clinch the AFC East. Pittsburgh and Kansas City have already clinched. The pitch rolls over the middle of Mitchell, and he's going to steam into the end zone for a touchdown. Well executed play.
Hey, go with what got you to the dance, that's for sure. They've been working Mitchell right up the seam all day long. I was a little surprised it was a play action, because you actually have to have your run game working for people to bite on the play action that dramatically, but worked out very nice. A nice throw right down the seam.
5th touchdown catch of the year for Mitchell. 16th touchdown pass of the year for Boomer Esiason. And the Jets will line up and go for 2. The mathematical formula for winning the game would be 3 touchdowns and 3 two-point conversions. So if they can accomplish this, they'll be 1/3 of the way there with 2:27 to go in the game. Mitchell will line up tight on the wing on the left side. Moore goes in motion. Babette in the slot. Esiason looking across the middle, throws short of the end zone to Fred Baxter, and a flag goes down.
Well, Blaine Bishop was all over his back, and I don't know if they're going to call him because they were kind of hand fighting in there, fighting over who had possession of the goal line.
Interference would move the ball to the 1-yard line.
There's no foul for defensive pass interference. The extra point is no good.
Okay.
So it stays 23-6, and let's take another look at the well-executed touchdown play.
There's that fake pitch, and he's going to throw it right down the slot. Johnny Mitchell, and it's worked before today, just haven't used it that much.
Eddie Robinson, the linebacker, in coverage, and Mitchell had half a step, which was all he needed with the well-thrown ball.
Yeah, I mean, he was close enough to cover, but he had no help on the inside. They had all kind of slid over following the play action and needed to react back. But once Mitchell got inside on Eddie Robinson, it was all over.
Several members of the crowd have stayed to root the Oilers home here with about 2:27 left on the clock, and Houston headed toward a potential 6th victory of the year. Johnny Mitchell reacting as though the TD was manna from heaven, and you can see that the Buffalo Bills have pinned Miami with its 7th loss of the season, and with that, the Bills emerge victorious from that AFC East struggle. They have clinched the division yet again.
And with under 2 minutes left in the game, Brian Cox gone, ejected for fighting.
Shock.
What a shock.
Playoff picture. And you see now the 3 teams which have clinched their divisions in the AFC: Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. Indianapolis waiting to play the Chargers in the RCA Dome. Oakland tonight in the Kingdome against Seattle. Miami drops to 8-7. Their picture darkens. And we'll wait to see what happens to Denver, Seattle, the other AFC teams still in the hunt. Cincinnati losing today to Cleveland. That will knock the Bengals out of playoff contention. Onside kick coming for the Jets. Number 5, Don Silvestri, getting ready to kick it with the left foot. Big bounce. Oiler players make sure it goes out of bounds off their hands. Derek Russell and Haywood Jeffries alert enough to leap into the air and tap that ball out of bounds. Good play.
Good play, good awareness. I tell you what, these kickers really have gotten this down to a science where they get that roll and then that big bounce right up in the air, and it becomes basically a jump ball. But the Oilers very aware of getting it out of bounds.
Now, and Mike Carey and his crew are going to decide what to do with the football. Whether the Jets will have to kick it again on the illegal procedure call that attends that out-of-bounds kick. Let's take another look.
Like I said, it gets that bounce, and it gets that big bounce where it becomes a jump ball. And watch Haywood Jeffries just getting a nice tap in.
Illegal bat by the receiving team, number 84. 10-yard penalty, re-kick.
Actually, if this was the NBA, it would have been a tap in. This was a tap out.
So all that means is the Jets will attempt the onside kick again, this time from 10 yards farther upfield at the 40. It's Brad Baxter with the look of disappointment along the sideline. Jets offense struggled all day long until that recent touchdown drive. NBA doubleheader coming up on Christmas Day at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. San Antonio against Phoenix. Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets go to Orlando to take on Shaq and the Magic. It starts with NBA Showtime at 3 p.m. Eastern. David Robinson and the Spurs going to Phoenix to battle Barkley and the Suns. And the Magic Kingdom sees the Christmas battle between Hakeem and Shaquille.
But now we get to see another jump ball right here on our onside kick.
Good call, fabulous Bobby G. Haywood Jeffries again reaches for the football and does the same thing. And I guess he's going to draw the same penalty.
Well, he's just doing what he's told.
Haywood, incidentally, said that he has feelings of nostalgia about this last game in the Astrodome, and he wants to communicate with the fans in some way. Another tap out.
Same thing. Oh, and they went after him that time. the Jets coaches said, get him.
Illegal bat on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, re-kick.
So local fans will be
Receiving team
watching.
cannot bat the ball forward.
Local fans will be watching Jeffries at the end of the game to see what he does. He has said that he'd like to run around the field and try to shake hands with all the fans in the stands. That'll take about 3 minutes. Or that perhaps he'd like to find some other way to share his feelings with them. And he said, I don't want them to remember me just as a football player, but as someone who cared about this city as my home.
And he has. He's been here for so long. He has been a fixture. And we've talked about all the good times that the Oilers have gone through here in Houston. And he has been a part of that. And, you know, and I think that the fans really respond. I mean, he's such an affable guy that you can't help but like the guy.
That smile is sufficient evidence right there. If he can stay with the Oilers next year and keep on rolling, Haywood will have a chance to pass Ernest Givens and become the all-time leading Houston Oilers receiver. He passed Drew Hill this year. Silvestri's third onside kick try. And this time the man wearing Givens' old number 81, Chris Sanders, the rookie star, grabs the football and brings an end to the onside madness.
I think the Jets were just tired of running down and making the hits. But I'm wondering, Jim, if they check the fans through the metal detectors coming in here, bringing possibly wrenches and screwdrivers, taking home some souvenir seats.
It has happened at other ballparks, they tell me.
Well, they were saying today that in Cleveland they were actually checking. They were going to check for just those things, for tools, so people wouldn't remove seats and benches and take souvenirs home with them.
If you've just joined us recently and you're thinking the crowd has thinned out because of the Oilers' commanding 23-6 lead, no, that's not the case. What you're looking at is the crowd which has stayed here through most of the day. Butts on first down. And Marion's a little upset at himself because he thought he was about to break a long one. And the 2-minute warning arrives in Houston.
After 2-minute warning.
We'll be back to the Astrodome for the last 2 minutes of this one right after these messages. Butts at second down 3 from the 42. And Butts moves the pile forward enough for a first down as K.S. Bud Adams looks on at his team's last 2 minutes of play in Houston, Texas, where they originated in 1960. This man was one of the original owners in the American Football League. It's quite a history in pro football. And we're going to take a look at maybe the emblematic Houston Oiler player of the 70s and 80s, Earl Campbell.
Boy, I tell you what, this guy was amazing. I played against him so many times and just ran people over. Never me, but other people.
The Tyler Rose. You made 18 tackles against him in the Cotton Bowl when you played for Notre Dame against his Texas team, January 1, 1978.
I think that's before he really knew how to run. I know this. They used to tell defensive backs, you got to tackle him low. Go for his legs. And then they'd go for his legs. They'd knock him down. Earl would get up and jog back to the huddle, and the defensive back would usually lay there.
Well, then after the glory of the Campbell years, when the Oilers were contenders, they had the team that Warren Moon led here as recently as 1992 and 93. Outstanding teams. On first down, McNair gives to Marion Butts, and Butts piles forward. That was an excellent team in 93 that went to Buffalo and took a 35-3 halftime lead over the Bills in the playoff game, and then they suffered that monumental second half collapse, which has sort of haunted the franchise ever since. Following year, they went 12-4, lost a playoff game in the second round here to Joe Montana and the Chiefs, and after that, Warren Moon was traded. Sean Jones and William Fuller left as free agents. Mike Munchak quit, and there, Bob, went the heart of the Oilers.
Right, and now we're looking at what they're hoping can be the new heart, the transplant for the Oilers in Nashville, I guess. Steve McNair, who came in and, and really didn't expect flashy numbers and a big huge day from him. But he went out there. He showed that he's a guy that can sit back in the pocket, maybe move around a little bit back there, make it hard for a defense to get him, and play a good, solid game.
Those numbers quite similar to the ones he put up in the second half against Detroit last week. But today, playing against a blitzing defense designed to confuse him, he's done reasonably well. Oilers keeping it on the ground and hoping to make the clock run, and the Jets are using the obligatory clock-stopping timeouts. And a minute and 37 seconds remaining. Meanwhile, Rich Kotite is headed for his 19th loss in the last 22 games for the teams he's coached. The numbers on that, he lost his last 7 as head coach of the Eagles last year. They are 3-12 this year. It adds to 3 wins in the last 22 games for Kotite coached teams.
You know, and we could tell from talking to him yesterday, you know, was not real happy, although resigned to the fact that he just didn't have the people that he needed. And you know, so this offseason is going to be very important for him. I think he's having an opportunity to test some of the mettle of some of the guys that he wants to keep on this team, but he's definitely going to have to find some people in the offseason.
Coach Kotite saying to us yesterday he could very easily see Boomer Esiason as the quarterback of the Jets next year if the Jets can persuade Boomer to stay. Boomer wants to find out if he has market value around the league. McNair gives to Butts, and Butts plows forward for about 4, so they'll be a yard short of the first down. And the clock runs with 1:27 to go.
The fans getting their last booze in.
And now the Oilers will bring the punting unit onto the field. Rich Camarillo about to make his last punt in Houston. Bruce Matthews playing his last game here, and what a player he's been in an Oiler uniform for 13 years. Going to make his 8th Pro Bowl appearance this year, and he said, hey, I'll never live in Tennessee. This is my home. Am I sad about us leaving? Yeah. In some ways it breaks my heart, but I'm a pro football player, and I expect to go to Memphis and play for this team next year.
And you can tell, you know, he's a pro football player, and he's a professional about it from the fact that they've asked him to play every position along that offensive line over the years, and he has definitely done well at every single position.
The anger here today is against Bud Adams, not against guys like Ray Childress and Bruce Matthews, the others who have given what they've got to the Oilers over these last 10 or 12 years in Houston.
It looks like the Oilers are going to bring back the offense and go for it on 4th down.
Crowd responds to that. Jeff Fisher making a decision to give the fans in Houston what they want. Go for it one more time on 4th and 1. Football at the 46-yard line, and everyone in the Astrodome rising to applaud Fisher.
Well, you know, and not just on this play, but I think the fans had to really applaud Jeff Fisher for the job that he's done.
Reports as an eligible receiver. Number 64 is eligible.
So Norgard will be an eligible receiver as he lines up as the 3rd tight end. They'll go with that 3 tight end set. Butts as the running back. Jets will stick 8 men up front. Butts is hit and fights forward for the first down. Kept his knee off the ground and definitely got the first down, and Oiler players celebrate on the field.
Well, that's kind of the story of the day. How things have gone. The Oilers just working just that much harder, just going that much farther to get a little bit extra.
And now the clock runs with 24 seconds to go, and the play clock shows 18, so they must run one more play. You have to expect that they'll let the play clock run out, accept the 5-yard penalty, and then snap it and let McNair take a knee, and that'll be the end of it. 3, 2, 1, 0. Illegal procedure penalty. No flag thrown. Officials are going to let this one end. That does it from the Astrodome, where the Houston Oilers have beaten the New York Jets 23-6 to go away with a victory in what is almost certain to be the last game that the Oilers will play in the 8th wonder of the world, their longtime home stadium, the Astrodome. And Haywood Jeffries goes to the fans to say good.